Hi, I'm Noah, and I'm emotionally scarred. Why? Um, I worked with very non-technical founders, and I experienced a particular situation quite a while ago, where a founder, I was setting up the whole security infra and stuff like that, and this guy sort of just lost all the hardware, encryption keys, and everything like that about 2 weeks before launch, which was, to call it an all-nighter would be selling it short. And based on that, I decided some people should be a bit less, fearlessly building companies and stuff like that, and instead maybe whimpering sadly in their beds. So I made this little presentation with the hopes of achieving that. Also, this is not working. Nope. Oh, it is now. It's maybe a bit weak. So yeah, I'm Noah. I'm a security researcher and software architect dev something. I've been hacking forever. I started with my dad not letting me use the computer and then breaking, the SAM file on Windows XP. I worked a lot in security in Fuzzers. Now I work at Cyber Capital as a researcher and at Oasis as, let's say, a weird core engineer DevRel thingy. I'm very proud of WASM Cov, which I co-created with Bartosz Barwikowski. It's like a WASM coverage tool. And that's more or less it about me. Oh, it's that way. So let's get into the story. This is Sashko. Sashko is a Ukrainian, let's say, hardware engineer working at Kovchik Systems. That's a secure devices company. He's a very chill guy. He's good at his job. He has a happy little family, and he doesn't do anything particularly unusual, except that from time to time, he will chat with other colleagues in his field and follow up on, what's new. Of course, always under a super secret, super good pseudonym that you maybe can recognize from history. And blink and you'll miss him, but he does pop up fairly often, sharing his knowledge and various bits of info with others. He's well respected and generally considered helpful by his peer. Now, this wouldn't be a story without some romance and a girl. In this case, though, this is Kim. She's a teenager from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. On the other side of the pond and, one continent over, she's doing her thing. Every day she fulfills her role, collecting information and creating files on various topics for others within her organization that shall not be named to use. And today, it's actually her lucky day because today she found Sashko. She was doing some general research on, STM32, the keyword, provided by the government. And right now she doesn't know very much about him, and not even that he's a he. But soon she will. Anyway, back to Sashko. So it's another day at the office. The team hit a major program milestone. Everyone got a little congrats and a performance bonus. For Bogdan, that meant one step closer to his awaited retirement farm. And then they had a half day in a security briefing that totally sucked for everyone, that Bogdan, of course, promised would soon be gone because it's a waste of time. After work, to decompress, they went to a nice kvass place. For those not familiar, kvass is a semi-popular Ukrainian drink. And it's a really cool new place that was just built across the parking lot of the tech park. It caters to the companies in the tech park, including Kovchik Systems. And it's a really cool place, It offers free Wi-Fi. That's totally not a pumpkin attack, let's say. 6 free small quiet rooms with absolutely no surveillance to make private phone calls or video calls, as well as a 15% discount to tech employees that just requires you to show your little ID card with absolutely no overhead camera taking a picture of it. And while in line, of course, the line that is completely unsurveilled, Sashko complained to his team, do you really think that someone with a security clearance like me needs to listen to this stuff? No one goes dumpster diving anymore, The security guys have no idea at all. So yeah, that's Sashko's day. Back to Kim. So Kim's progress is slow, but, her group leader says that researchers do need to be very patient. It can take weeks to find something important, and each petal helps you identify the flower it came from. In this case, for Kim, the lucky moment was actually, she followed the trail from one side to another, and despite the many dead ends, she found success in a privacy review that Sashko actually did quite a while ago. He was, he was doing pseudonyms, he was doing his real name, and he was sort of sometimes mixing them up a little bit. He couldn't maintain 100 emails, right? And at some point he was like, oh no, I have my real name here on this review site, maybe I should change it to a username. Unluckily for him, archives do exist, and you cannot delete anything off the internet. And of course, once Kim had his real name, everything else was fairly easy. She knew all of his private data, she knew about his family, she knew all his social media or programming profiles, etc., etc. Each of these things was producing, of course, even more new information that could be put in the file. She knew more or less everything about his life at this point. Even things that Sashko never shared in public. His, black hat days of times long gone or whatever. Stuff that those closest to him didn't know about. Until one day, Kim's work on Sashko was over. She had a nice little file with all the key information about Sashko, nicely and neatly organized. And she was rewarded for completing her 200th file because now she was allowed to recommend a family member, she chose her sister, to join her at school. And soon she would have the honor of teaching her 13-year-old sister all she learned about searching and Google and stuff. While the information about Sashko is available as needed. Anyway, let's try to forget about all of this. Come on, there we go. Because some time has passed, a year, maybe more, and Kim's government has found out about a certain exploit in a certain version of the STM32 chip that may still not be quite revealed. That affects the USB bus, and that can be used to extract maybe to get, let's say, some sort of higher level access or whatever. And they just need to confirm, in a sort of kill chain, you're looking for various paths to get to an exploit. You can have a very broad goal, you can have a very narrow goal. They need to confirm if certain Kovchek system products were vulnerable because they could be used potentially as a step in another attack. And there was a conference just like this one, and Sashko was attending it. It was an out-of-town conference with, well, not quite like this one. It was not a classified level conference, but it definitely required company sponsorship and some sort of vouching to get into. However, it was held in a conference center that maybe even had a hotel integrated, which means there were shared areas and private areas of the conference. There were guards outside the meeting rooms, and the conference badges had to be worn when entering sessions, but there were also, elevators, the lobby, etc. And it's been a few days now of the conference, and, Sashko is a bit tired, and he goes to the lobby. At the bar, he sees a guy wearing a Dynamo Kiev hat. He had seen him around the hotel several times in the past few days, in the lobby, in the elevators, just rambling around the premises. And of course, he walks over. He's like, Dynamo Kiev, here? And the guy, let's call him Jack, he's like, of course, you're the first one to notice, though. Oh yeah, well, I'm a fan, and they hit it off instantly. They're the best buddies. They have so much in common, right? And they're both at a conference, right? And they're talking a little bit, and after a while, Jack is like, okay, yeah, I'm getting a little bit peckish, maybe we'd get something to eat, right? I have a company budget, let's spend it. Would be a shame not to. So they go, they have a little dinner, they drink a little bit of wine, maybe get a little bit drunk, tipsy, whatever. And, Jack is opening up, they're talking about family, friends, women, whatever. And at some point, Jack is like, so we're starting this new project, and I'm a little bit worried because we're going to be working with the STM32 chips, and I just don't have much experience here. So, have you worked with this particular version before? How is the documentation? Anything you noticed? Any peculiarities, blah, blah, blah. And Sashko, a little bit tipsy and a very, very helpful guy, he's nice, this is his friend now, is like, oh, of course, we use them in this and that product, and, they're very well documented. And he just shares a few bits of information, not too much. And they move on to other topics. You really miss something like this in a 2-3 hour semi-tipsy conversation, honestly. You cannot remember what you ate for breakfast, come on. And Jack is very happy as he leaves. He tells, of course, Sashko that he has to catch an early flight. He has to go right now. And they say their goodbyes, and Jack is very happy. Jack is happy because he extracted the information he needed for his client, and he even has Sashko as a friendly contact that he can ask about any additional information he needs. And he was able to achieve all of this without having to do anything at all unkind. A few weeks pass, and just pick your area of choice. You either have like some major hack where $1 billion or whatever is stolen, doesn't matter, forgotten after a week, or because of a hardware wallet using their products, or you maybe have like, I don't know, an activist network getting their encryption broken by a less friendly government, and their members hunted, killed, interrogated, and imprisoned. So, yeah. What the heck do you do? Well, for one, do not share information when drunk, please. Second, please do not approach me right after this talk and incriminate yourselves. I am not working with the police, but it is slightly uncomfortable. I cannot help you if you committed too many crimes. But the key thing is to know what OPSEC isn't, because there's a lot of people that will try to sell you an idea of OPSEC and particular things that you can do that are actually very, very invalid. So what can you do? Well, not a magic list of rules that you follow. You don't just do this or that. I cannot tell you that. You cannot make moves blindly. You need to know your actual risk profile. You need to know your threat model. You don't throw on a VPN. You don't buy some BS service. You don't just get endpoint detection. You need to figure out what is information you want to protect. You need to build your defenses based on who's after you, what they want, and what happens if they succeed. So the first question is, who are you protecting? Are you guarding sensitive personal information? Are you guarding business secrets? Are you hiding illegal activities? Because these require different levels of protection based on the outcome, and of course, who's after you? Because some of these may be hunted by just nosy friends, exes, random trolls, or just the dumbest script kiddie that picked you for the week. Or you may have like a serious mid-tier, stalker, doxer, cyber criminal competitor, and illegal activities and stuff, or just being a protester. You have law enforcement, Five Eyes, right? Intelligence agencies, corporate espionage, nation-state actors, whatever, and these have different levels of operational capability. Some of these rely on social engineering or maybe basic OSINT, while others may be able to actually get an exploit to your device, track you in some more advanced ways. I don't have the time to share the particular strategies in this minute and a half, but there's a lot of good ways to get into someone's computer. And finally, law enforcement can straight up kidnap you, aka arrest you, or a more serious organization can kidnap you for real and just use a wrench attack to extract the secrets. So you need to determine your OPSEC based on that. And finally, what happens if they win? Is your worst case just loss of some data, or is it a loss of wealth, imprisonment, death? These all determine what happens. And I just have 3 key words in the last minute, which is compartmentalization, anonymity, and airtight security. What that means, in short, is if you're a hacker wanting to steal about $10 million now, you should not associate it with your real identity. I'm Noah, I'm here with this face, you already know me. I cannot undo your knowledge of me. What I can do is make a new pseudonym that should be disconnected from my identity, disconnected from any devices. Don't forget that Wi-Fi is very, very observable and provides a lot of information. And I should exit my hack with just a list of Monero keys on paper and a nice pile of ash where all my old computer equipment used to be. So keep that in mind. And if you have any additional questions, you can catch me in front in about a minute. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure.